In September of 2021, this body gathered to deal with issues we were facing related to COVID. And during that time, I drove back and forth to Pulaski County, which is unlike how I normally act during the session. Usually when I come up here, I stay all week. Like many of you, it's a bit of a trip to come up here and get back home. But that particular week was different for me. So I got up early. I left, I came up here, spent the day, and I went back home. Most of you probably don't realize I had to leave early the last day to tend to an emergency at home. At the end of that week on Saturday, my dad entered hospice care. Well, he'd been in hospice care at home for some time, but he entered the hospice unit at the hospital, passed away a couple days later. I know what it's like to face these issues. I know what it's like to have a family member who is suffering, and you want to help, you want to do anything you possibly can. And to be honest with you, as many other people in this body have said, you know, there is a way I could get there to support a medication to meet my dad's needs. He was in severe pain. This bill is not that bill. Over the last few weeks, I've spoken to some of my constituents, and the last few days I've talked to some of our House members. Yesterday, I worked on an amendment to address some of the concerns that were shared, the conversations that we had, and my intention was to file that amendment yesterday. I had no idea it would be such a short day. Like many of you, I expect it to be a long day, so I didn't get to file that amendment till this morning. I'll tell you some of the things I addressed in this bill, or in the amendment. It's based on concerns that constituents had, other members had, some of the emails I've received. It removes access to raw material. You know, as the gentleman from Jefferson 33 stated, this is not intended to be smoked. Well, once you get that raw material in your hands, once you get it home, there's nothing that's going to keep you from doing that. Nothing. The only safeguard we have is to put that in place to make sure that you just can't get it. The qualifying medical conditions on this bill are quite broad. The gentleman said there's 5 of them, but it does a lot of different things. One of them says any form of cancer, any stage. Basal cell or squamous cell carcinoma, something that's a very simple procedure, would, in essence, qualify to have medical marijuana under this bill. Muscle spasms, nausea, PTSD, those are some other things that I removed in the amendment. Another thing that it does in the amendment, I appreciate and respect the work from the lady from Kenton on the Kentucky Center for Cannabis. But truly, I believe if we're going to expand the use of this product, of this drug, to the people of Kentucky, this body needs to come back and vote on it. Rather than having an unelected body to expand it to any condition they so desire. And to the point of some people, they are professional scientists, but at the end of the day, they can make the recommendation to us. We could come back, we could take that vote, and we could expand it if we believe that that's the right thing for the people of Kentucky based on the recommendations. A number of years before I arrived here in Frankfort, the people of this body, those who preceded us, they voted to limit the number of days of certain opioids and addictive drugs that you could have. They limited it to 3 days. This amendment would do the same thing. One of the big concerns that is in this bill is about the ability to vape the product. I spent much of my day on Monday at one of my local high schools meeting with the SRO and touring and talking about students who are vaping THC. And yes, it's already out there. But do we really want to make it more readily available? We know that the biggest access point for young people with drugs today is not probably online or down the street. It's in mom and dad's medicine cabinet. We want to ensure that this product is not vaped, so we remove that in this amendment. Another thing that was addressed at the school I visited the other day, and some concerns I've heard today specifically even more, and the gentleman said that he's willing to address it next year. Let's not wait till next year, let's do it now. Rather than saying that the schools shall adopt a policy for use by students, let's make that a permissible statement by changing shall to may, and reiterate that no student can carry it on their person. These are simple things. Honestly, it makes a bad bill better. It doesn't make it a perfect bill. With that said, Mr. Speaker, I would make a motion for suspension of the rules to call House Floor Amendment 1, and I would ask for a roll call. We sometimes give people what they want, not what they need. This is one of those moments. This doesn't have to be rushed. This doesn't have to be run through. It's been mentioned a number of times. I watched the committee today. They said we can deal with some of these things in January. It doesn't take effect till 2025. Why the hurry? Let's take some time. Let's pump the brakes. Let's think about this. Let's come back with a good bill. I didn't like the bill that the gentleman from Jefferson had last year, but it was better than this one. But let's collaborate on something that is workable, that will provide more protections. We all agree, urban and rural, wherever you are across the Commonwealth, we have a drug issue, and this will adversely affect the people of our communities, including our young people. So I would ask you, please vote no on this bill. Thank you so much.